What's up, everybody? How you doing? How you doing? It's been a while. How you been? So yeah, another video, another day. But hey, before we begin, did you hit the bell? Hit the, ah, you know it. So yeah, we're gonna check it out. Mystery Archive, the video, the untold story of OKIKU, the haunted Japanese doll. And yeah, I'm familiar with the story of OKIKU. You know, the famed Japanese doll with the hair growing. Is at a shrine and it's believed to be possessed by the spirit of the little girl, the original owner of the doll. And it was donated by the family to the shrine to ease the spirit, but if I recall, the hair still grows, and what was that? So yeah, it's gonna be an interesting video. If you want me to react to more of this stuff, hey, let me know in the comments down below, because hey, we're already in the spooky season, so. And I know the people in the back are like, hey, this ain't Halloween yet. Shush. If you keep bringing Christmas early, we're gonna bring Halloween early. Deal with it. So yeah, before we get, so let's check it out, people. Fix the lighter. Okay, 3, 2, 1, go.
Could an item, if given enough energy, devotion, and focus, begin to take on a life of its own? Could it begin to exhibit human-like characteristics, as if it has been imbued with, or contains some kind of soul or entity inside of it? This act of magic has been practiced by multiple religions and cults throughout the ages. This is just one very strange example that it could indeed be possible. After a gracious gift was placed into the arms of a little girl, tragedy would strike, and what follows would continue to haunt the family, the citizens of the village, and would soon cross far beyond the barriers of land and sea. This is the untold story of OKIKU, the haunted Japanese doll, and the bizarre paranormal force that possessed it. Japan is a very mystical and spiritual place, a place where the souls of the past seem to interact with the living. Such places where this spiritual energy seems to be most visible is throughout many of Japan's spiritual temples.
Sorry about that. I had to raise the volume.
Home to many religions, the two main ones being Buddhism and Shintoism. Thousands of temples exist all over the country, but one in particular houses a spiritual artifact that has a tragic backstory and an even more terrifying story that continues to be written to this day. Located in Hokkaido, Japan, at the Meninji Buddhist Temple, is a doll with a bizarre and tragic backstory indeed. Although there are several origin stories of how the doll came to be and how the temple became its final living space, so to speak, all of them have most of the main details in common. Therefore, I'll be telling the most agreed upon origin story to try and be as true to the legend as I can. The year is 1918 in Hokkaido, Japan, and a 17-year-old boy by the name of Ikiki Suzuki is in search of a gift for his little sister's birthday. As he pursues the different vendors and small shops, something soon catches his attention. In one of the store windows, he spots a small, childlike doll wearing a traditional Japanese kimono. Knowing that he had finally found something his sister will love, Ikiki quickly purchases the doll and makes his way back home through the countryside. As the family celebrates their little girl's birthday, OKIKU is presented with the doll, and almost immediately, as soon as her eyes meet hers, she falls in love with it. The two from this point become inseparable. Wherever OKIKU is, her doll is right by her side. She combs her hair, bathes her, dresses her, and treats her as if she was her little sister. The two even share meals and sleep side by side. So this is the actual photo of the doll. The joy that the doll brought OKIKU must have filled Ekiki's heart with such happiness. But soon that happiness would change to tragedy. One hot day, as the little girl played outside with her doll, she was bitten by a mosquito. This benign insect bite would soon manifest itself into a horrible case of malaria. Although the family did everything they could possibly do, Okiku would pass away, scared and gasping for air, as she clutched her special doll, all the way until the moment she took her last breath.
Damn.
Devastated, the Suzukis planned to have their little girl buried with the doll, since she loved it so much. But unfortunately, due to either governmental or religious oversight at the time, this wasn't an option. Instead, after they had laid Okiku to rest, the doll would be placed on a small family shrine located within the living quarters of their home, as a tribute of sorts to their late daughter and their love for her. But shortly after the doll was placed on the shrine, very strange things began to happen. Ikiki, upon walking past the shrine one day, noticed that the doll's hair seemed significantly longer than what it had been when it was placed there. The hair, which was originally shoulder's length on the doll itself, and black, was now overgrown, with differing shades of brown hair also coming through, and splitting at the ends. Finding this bizarre to say the least, he brought the discovery to his parents' attention, and unsure of what else to do, they trimmed the doll's hair. As the days came and went, the family began to have distressing dreams at night of their departed Okiku. Sometimes she would be scared and alone in the darkness, calling out to them, only being recognized by her voice. Other times, she would blame them for what happened to her. Each member of the family at differing times had these dreams, and they would soon lead all of them to believe that Okiku's soul wasn't peacefully resting. These disturbing dreams soon became all the stranger when the doll, which they began to refer to as Okiku in their daughter's honor, would appear by their bedsides, following these nightmares.
Hey, yo.
One such incident involved the father of the family waking up in a cold sweat, only to be met face to face with the blank and lifeless stare of the doll. Unsure of what was taking place, the Suzukis turned to their faith. After contacting a local Buddhist priest and having a cleansing ritual be performed on their home and the doll, the activity seemed to grow and become stronger. Accompanying their ever-frequent nightmares and random movements of the doll, the chilling events grew into full-blown spiritual manifestations. During their waking life, they soon began to hear banging noises all throughout the house, and the whispers of a little girl. Strange disembodied voices, varying from high-pitched, like those of a child, to the low groans of something unexplainable, began to be heard. Their lights began to flicker on and off, and the paranormal activity seemed to happen more frequently as the calendar ticked closer to the birth and death dates of Okiku. These strange and terrifying happenings would continue over the course of the next 20 years, with multiple religious priests and shamans being contacted, and all coming to the same conclusion that after the cleansings failed time and time again, that the restless spirit of Okiku now inhabited the doll she once loved so much. Finally, needing a major change, and unable to deal with the ever-intensifying spiritual presence that seemed to haunt their home, the Suzukis relocated to a different district. Believing the doll to be the source of their various ailments and emotional torture that they had endured over the last 2 decades, they had no desire to take it with them. The family had reached the conclusion that if their daughter's soul wasn't at peace, what could perhaps be helping to fuel Okiku's power, or magic, was the close proximity of her grave to their home, where the doll resided. So in order to distance the doll from the grave, the family approached the Menenji Buddhist temple in Hokkaido, and over the years, the doll's reputation for being haunted had spread throughout the community, and indeed the majority of the country. This was more than likely due to the various interactions between the spiritual community and the Suzuki family. Finding the doll to be mesmerizing and possibly a unique opportunity to commute and interact with the dead if the stories were true, the leaders and priests of the Meninji Temple agreed to home OKIKU permanently. As with many legends, we find lots of details to be exaggerated over time, and perhaps some of the details to not be true at all. And this is what the priests were originally thinking, that perhaps due to grief, the family was dealing with other spiritual ailments, perhaps unrelated to the doll, or causing the doll to be a vessel of sorts for restless spirits. However, as the years came and went, as OKIKU now called the temple her home, they began to slowly but surely experience the same strangeness the Suzukis had for all of those years. OKIKU's hair continued to grow,
that's creepy.
and this baffled the priests. They would eventually have the hair trimmed and tested, and the hair was said to belong to a little girl. They found that the entity seemed to be appeased when her hair was trimmed and combed, and this led to less activity for a time, but the same activity, the knocking, banging, and disembodied voices, would soon plague the temple as well. OKIKU's power only seemed to grow. Any priest who seemed skeptical of the doll or attempted to cleanse it,
The fact that it's possessed by the little girl, like, originally they want to bury the doll with the girl, but due to, religion and the government, I'm like, what does the government have to do with a funeral? Like, first of all, they lost their child due to a deadly disease, and the government's like, oh, you can't do this. Okay, what does the government have to do with that? I don't understand. That's just crazy and bullshit. They just lost their little girl. They wanted to honor her by burying the doll that she loved with her. And since they didn't, because of, maybe she's not at rest because she's not with her doll. That's why. Hey, that's just a theory for me. Maybe she's not at rest because, hey, she's not buried with her doll. That's why they're having these dreams of her right there, saying they abandoned her. And that. But, sheesh. And the fact that spirit starts to calm down when you comb her hair is like, hey, maybe that'll work because, hey, you forgot this is the spirit of a little girl, and since she used to play with the doll when she was alive, combing her hair, dressing her up, maybe that calms the spirit down. Jesus. That's how insane this is. Like, literally. Well, let's continue, shall we?
themselves soon had their dreams haunted as well,
Oh?
turning their sleep into restless fits. Their homes and rooms soon also began to manifest the very same activity that the temple was now exhibiting. With no remedy seeming to work, the leaders turned to appeasement instead, hoping that gestures of goodwill would keep the
It
entity
did work when
at
you
bay.
cut her hair and groom her
As
hair.
years turned to decades, and as we've come into the 21st century, the priests of multiple generations now have overseen and cared for the doll known as OKIKU. And though some of the more violent
There's the
activity
doll.
has faded, the general consensus is that she is now just as powerful as she was, or is perhaps more powerful, as she's continued to age. It seems like as the more her fame and notoriety grows, the more visitors she has, the stronger she becomes. She continues to invade the dreams of those who come to visit her, and her hair is growing faster and more frayed.
The hell?
She is said to drive tourists mad who doubt her, with many people even reporting that besides seeing her strange hair and
Yeah, that's what I figured. Tor's like, yeah, this ain't be real. This is just what his doll do. 3 seconds later. Yeah. That's what I figure of a typical skeptic tourist. Jesus. 1 second mocking, the other off to the loony house, to the cuckoo's nest. Hmm. It's the same with this. Shit. What was that other one? I can't remember. Annabelle. Who knows that one? And that's a different story. Annabelle's a different one. Whew. She's a different case. But yeah, this is about skeptics that just piss me off because they just want proof, 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 evidence, evidence, evidence. What do you call that? Hmm? Oh boy. But let's continue.
Feeling a malevolent presence when visiting her. They've also had her stalk and appear in their dreams. Some more disturbing and recent reports have even suggested that her mouth is slowly opening, and that if you dare to peer inside of it, you may just catch a glimpse of baby-like teeth sprouting from her porcelain gums, as if whoever or whatever she is
Okay, that's
slowly
creepy.
turning to flesh and bone. The paranormal displays of her power continue to occur as well.
Seriously.
Her permanent home, located within the Menaging Temple, is her own private shrine where she sits in a small wooden box on display. It is here that she watches and waits for anyone and everyone who dares to play with fire and invoke the power of the entity known as OKIKU. But what are your thoughts? Was OKIKU the girl?
I like how they mentioned you want to play with fire. People are so stupid that just want to say, "Oh, they real, they real, they real." Like tap on the glass and like bugging the fish, like like that. And second, they're dead. For example, Annabelle. We got this biker idiot tap on the glass, like, "Hey, do something, stupid doll, do something, do something." And Ed Warmer was there. He saw the face, "Hey, get the fuck out." And after the biker left his girlfriend at her house, 1 hour later, he did because he crashed into a tree and died. He said, "Do something." There you go, stupid. And that Annabelle's not the only one. You got Robert the doll who has a shitload of letters apologizing because the people who work there know what Robert likes and Robert doesn't like. And they know the story of Robert the doll. Because he has rules like you have to ask permission to take a photo of him. If you don't, you're fucked. And then the only way to get rid of that curse is to apologize to him. Those who couldn't, make the journey had to write letters to him apologizing for taking a photo, a video. And Robert and Annabelle are just the two examples. There are other dolls, but those two that comes to mind, yeah. And Okiku trying to say that, oh, she gonna do shit, like, you're actually attempting a spirit of a little girl who got her life cut short from a disease, and you think you have the big cojones to tease her. Okay, enjoy the nutty house, piece of shit. That's why if I ever meet these type of dolls, I'll be more respectful, more mindful, because you don't want to play with fire, and these things are something that has to be taken seriously. Right here. And the amount of idiots we have in the world, that's plenty of wood to fuel the fire. And the fact they're treating her like she's getting towards like kind of like the respect, like they're those respect is all, the attention. But hey, she's a doll. She needs a lot of attention like a child does. I mean, that calms her down. But what pisses her off? Idiots. Period. Oh boy. But continuing.
Trapped inside of the doll. In my opinion, although her
Whoever did this
spirit
art
would be
is pretty
much
cool.
older now,
On
at
art
the
like
time
that.
of her
I
death,
like the
she
art.
was either close to or was 3 years old, and no person at that age is capable of true malice, to the point to where she would become aware enough to begin to blame her parents and then torment them for decades to come. As children, our parents or our family are our entire world. So I find it incredibly difficult to think that these bizarre happenings were the result of her soul being restless and imbuing the doll. What I find more likely, and all the more interesting really, is the thought of invocation or the imbuing of the doll, like a conduit or a vessel of sorts. OKIKU the girl was, as they said, inseparable from this doll. She fed it, bathed it, took naps with it, and everything else a small child would do with that wonderful imagination that they have. But could all of this dedication and focus, accompanied with the tragedy that took place, allow for a portal to open for an entity, whether non-human or a restless human spirit, to inhabit the doll? And by non-human, I mean a demon. This would make sense to me. Something that enjoys and grows more powerful off of pain and misfortune, or the emotional torment of others. As it causes the pain, it feeds off of it, and grows ever stronger. This would not only explain the malevolent manifestations of whatever entity is present, but would also explain the still present force and the alleged ever-growing power of it. And depending on the entity's strength, it could also explain why the cleansings thus far have failed. However, if you find yourself taking a trip to Japan anytime soon, or you happen to call Japan home, if you find yourself in Hokkaido, you may want to steer clear of the Menejin Temple, because if you don't, the entity that inhabits the doll, known as OKIKU, may just use you as its next feeding source, where it'll begin to plague your dreams, making you twist and turn, sweat and fear, as it grows ever stronger and attempts to cross from its world into ours, making our plane of existence its permanent residence. Thank you all so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a like, hit the subscribe button if you're new here, to help our community grow and to help me out in the algorithm as we approach this massive milestone of 100,000 subscribers. I recently came across this story, and although it's a little different from the norm, I found it way too interesting and scary not to share with you guys. So I hope you liked it. Other than that, I hope you're all doing well. I hope you're taking care of yourselves physically, spiritually, and mentally as we continue to head yet further into this year. And just know that I truly appreciate each and every one of you. Until next time, this has been Cody here at Mystery Archives. Please, stay safe out there, and take care.
You too. Well, that was a good video, wasn't it? And like I said before, be respectful, be mindful. If you don't, well, it's on you. And you'll be fucked right in the ass like damn hard. Jesus. There's something, that's why I'm more, when it comes to the paranormal or hauntings, I'm more mindful and respectful because, yeah, there'll be people like, hey, do something, do something, do something. It's like, you know what, something comes flying and hits you smack in the face, like, oh boy. And I've seen paranormal videos, like actual ones, where you got one that almost got hit with a fork or a knife. Yeah, I think that was the one in Russia, I believe. Like, so yeah, that's an answer to get the fuck out. But yeah, in this case, it's a tragedy of a little girl who lost her life in the disease, believing that her family abandoned her, and she possesses a doll that she loved in life. Wow. I'm more respectful for, this. Damn. And there's some things in this world that cannot be explained, but let's just say be mindful, be respectful, and you'll live longer. And if you don't, well, you just forfeit your lifespan in tenfold or more. But yeah, that'll be it for today. If you're new to the channel, remember to subscribe, hit the bell, like the video, and also check out Mystery Archives channel as well. You might enjoy the content as well, as I do. Until then, comment up. Oh yeah, comment down below if you want me to react to other cool haunting stuff. Because hey, that's the thing I like. I like mostly about ghost stories, paranormal, you name it. Also like watching like reaction to like comedy. Anything that keeps me busy. But hey, until then, have a great day. Have a great night. Stay safe. Peace out. See ya.